Hi, it's Adam from Krav Maga Northern Beaches here, and I'm here with Monique Dahl. She's a client of ours, and her children are in the Warriors program. She's also a developmental psychologist. She's been coaching parents and children for over 20 years, and she's the author of this book here, No Limit Parenting, Do What You Love and Inspire Your Children. Hey Monique, how are you?
Hey Adam, thank you for introducing me, and it's a pleasure and honor to share some important tips with your viewers these upcoming 6 videos, because we will be sharing tips about parenting and coaching and personal development, and those are things that most of our children don't learn at school, while they're very important for them to create happy and fulfilling lives, and that's what we all want for our children.
Well, I'm really looking forward to the videos.
Me too.
Thank you. Hi, it's Adam from Krav Maga Northern Beaches here, and I'm with Monique again, and we're going to be exploring the topic of concentration and mindfulness and how that has an impact on parenting and children. Hey Monique, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine.
That's good. Can you just tell us a little bit about, how concentration has an impact on children? Because I know today, we live in such a fast world, and I get lots of clients that come in and whether it be predominantly a lot of boys will come in and they struggle with concentration. They can't concentrate at school. They're very active, and it's a big issue with a lot of parents.
Yeah. So a lot of children are these days diagnosed with labels as ADHD, ADD, and it all has to do with this attention. And actually, attention is something that you can train, but it's not so strange that people struggle with it, because we've never lived in a time that so many impulses and input and information comes to us every day. And for a lot of people, that's overwhelming, and it requires new skills or higher advanced skills to process all that. So, one thing that helped me myself a lot in dealing with that overwhelm and being more mindful in the moment is mindfulness. And mindfulness gives us some wonderful tools that we can easily teach our children as well to become more aware of what's happening inside and what's happening outside, and how to balance that.
Yeah, I know. Like for myself, like with Krav Maga, we call it mental training, and with our kids program, I made a habit that when we start the class and we finish the class, we do a breathing exercise of some sort, and I find even children at such a young age need to have this exposure to it, and it's something that they can practice, and some children do it really well, but just connecting with the breath, especially in martial arts and Krav Maga, is so vital, especially as we sort of develop even in an adult program. The breath is probably one of the most underestimated, undervalued things that we have, to calming someone down, or in this case, keeping them a little bit more focused.
That's so true. That breathing really is very underestimated, that the importance of it, and it can always bring you back to the present moment, connect with your feelings, find peace with what's happening to you. And the wonderful thing about the breath is that you always have it with you. So it's very easy to teach your children some exercises that they can do, for instance, in school when they feel scared or nervous for a test they need to make. And that's really the easiest way to start practicing mindfulness, to become more aware of your breath. And just notice, take some deep breaths and see what's happening to you. Almost immediately you feel your body more, because we tend to live a lot in our heads, and the breathing brings you back into your body. And your body has a lot of wisdom to share with you on how you're doing during the day.
I see a lot like it, especially sometimes I have some children in class that, have anxiety or, struggle with concentration, or they have an upset, something happens or someone's not sharing. And in that moment, the first thing I do as a coach or as a parent is tell them, take a few deep breaths. You know what I mean? And often it just sort of breaks that sort of trigger or that attachment to being angry. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer, but I find, even if someone's a little bit anxious, they sort of come out of that state a little bit, and then it gives me a little bit more chance to sort of see where they're at and do a bit of coaching and help them out. But it sort of just breaks that trigger sometimes.
That's exactly right, because we humans are habitual creatures. So we do the things as if we have developed a certain pattern of reacting on certain situations. That's where we go when this thing happens. And you see that also a lot in parenting. And what we learn about dealing with our emotions regularly. Normally there are two ways to cope with your emotions, and one is suppressing them. And as we all know, you can do that for a while, but it will come up someday, most of the time like an explosion. And the other way is to release them, but that can also be in a way that is not accepted socially, that you just burst out. Toddlers will do that, but at a certain age you will not allow that anymore. And that's the beautiful thing of mindfulness. It offers a third option, and that is just observe your emotions. So take a step back, and that's exactly what you say. It gives just enough space between action and reaction, and in that moment you can make a conscious decision how you want to proceed, and you break this cycle of automatic reaction when something is triggering you.
I guess like the parents are like, I know with myself when you talk about, habits, it's like I will react certain ways. If my daughter does something, it's like I do a certain reaction. So is it like helpful, I guess, even for a parent to have that moment where you can realize that I'm doing this reaction again. Every time they do A, I do B. And in some cases my reaction is not being a good role model and it's not helping my child. And I guess that's where as a parent it's good for them to take that breath themselves so they can see what's going on internally and then approach it in a different way.
Because it's so funny, often parents come to me, they have a problem in the parenting, and I say, my first question always is, what did you try already? What did you already try? And it's always the same one thing. I say he has to stop. Did he stop? No, he didn't stop. And they tried 100 times and the child won't stop. Your head up against the wall. And it's like in mindfulness, you say, okay, this action of mine has not a desired effect. How can I choose a different reaction? And it's just that moment of awareness, breathing, and choose a different reaction, which oftentimes breaks the pattern where you have come to be with your child.
It's like, would it be fair to say, like, if you really become present and take that breath, like I know I've practiced it a little bit with my daughter and my son, and when I realize I'm going to do that reaction that I'm so used to, sometimes when I take that step back and I have that concentration and that awareness, then I can actually see different possibilities. Maybe I can come from this angle, maybe I can try this approach or this approach. And it gives me more choices then, really, which sort of overlaps with what we're talking about the other time.
And then you make more conscious decisions on how to react. And it can also sometimes totally change your perspective. I often tell this example from my own experience that I remember one moment very clearly that I was cooking in the kitchen. The end of the day, I was tired. I was cooking, and I have 3 boys, so they often make a lot of noise and running around. I can
imagine.
And I was saying, in my head, I already said, "Can it be a little bit more quiet? Quiet down, slow down, don't make so much noise." And then I took this breath and observed what was happening around me, and then I realized actually they had a wonderful moment, that they were all playing together. They just had fun, and my reaction said more about myself. I was tired because of the day I have behind me, and because of the stepping back, breathing in, taking that moment, I realized that it was really actually a wonderful family moment, that I was cooking, they had fun, and actually there was no problem at all. But I was almost there to explode to them that they needed to stop the running and stop the playing, while it was actually a good moment. So your perspective on the certain situation can shift completely when you take the time to get back and to ground yourself.
No, it's really powerful. So, I mean, with families today, with such busy schedules and so much on, how can we sort of take this concentration and sort of implement it into our families?
There are lots of books about mindfulness and how to practice that with a family. One thing you can do, what I like to do, is for many families, the mornings are very hectic. Everybody needs their breakfast, the bags for school, and then leaving the house. You can make this appointment with each other before you leave the house. You do this breathing thing. So everybody goes out of the door in this relaxed state and setting a positive intention for the day that is ahead. Another thing that you can do, I told in an earlier video about having these regular meetings as a family. We ourselves, for instance, do that every Sunday after breakfast. We have this moment of reflection as a family to see how everybody is doing, what our goals are for the week, what our goals are for the year, how we can help each other. And it's just being aware in the moment as a family, take some time to connect and have this focus on each other. So that is something, it's like a habit. You can integrate that in your life. It's not really mindfulness practicing, but it's really
being concentrating
and creating reflection, moments of reflection. So that is another thing that really helped us as a family to have this moment before the new week starts.
Okay, great. So what are some tips for parents out there when it comes to concentration to help their child, be a little bit more focused?
Well, as I said, I would advise to make more use of the breath and the breathing exercises that are available for us. You can also work with, for instance, positive affirmations. So I remember we had all those cards with positive statements, and then children are preparing for difficult things they need to do at school, or that you can give them a card in their with their lunchbox or something to remind them. It's also a reminder during the day. Oh yeah, I have this other perspective. I can get to myself. I can use my breathing. So create reminders during the day. Actually, is a really good one to connect with yourself and to let go of what's bothering you at that moment.
Okay, great. Is there anything else that we need to add? I think we've summed up concentration quite well. Okay, so thanks heaps, Monique. This is your amazing book, No Limit Parenting. Do what you love and inspire children. So if you want a copy, by all means, you can jump online and get that. And you've also got an online coaching business?
Yes, so you can go to my website, moniquedaal.com.au, and there you can find all the information about that.
Fantastic. Thanks for your time.
You're welcome.
See you. Bye.